You guys, I'm out here watering. It's 10 o'clock and I heard a hummingbird next to me, which is not unusual, but I followed her and she went to the rose bush, which is weird because that's not a source of food for them. But what I found in it, once I saw her sitting on it, check this out. That's a hummingbird nest. You guys, it's so tiny. There's fluff in there. I don't think there's any eggs in it yet. I don't want to spend too much time around it because I don't want to chase her or him off. I'm pretty sure it was a female that I saw sitting on that nest, but oh gosh, how precious and magical is that? Well, it is Monday morning, and as you saw in that opening footage, Mike and I came out here on Saturday to work on these beds here to my right. So let me just show you where we stand. Things are in much better shape. I still have a lot to do, but that was a big help. Okay, so the only thing I still need to do over here is add extra wood chips here. I need to order some because we are out. And then add a few more in here in places, but got the wood chips down in this pathway with cardboard, forked and added compost to this bed, cardboard and wood chips in this pathway, pulled this back, and it was super soft, so we didn't need to fork it, but added gypsum and compost. I weeded this whole bed and also on the edge here. And then some of this, there's only one more weed I need to dig up. The rest will get cardboard and wood chips when we're done. And then they'll be the same on the outside edge. Then this section is done and it looks so much better. I'm very relieved to have addressed all of this and finally gotten it going. Now, we are gonna get up to hopefully 80 degrees today. And the reason I say hopefully is that it's been quite chilly. And so things are very slowly growing and I need things to pick up the pace. So we still have lots of open space in here. Like my first succession of zinnias just didn't make it. There was enough cold nights that they died, but that's fine. I've got two more at home and they're hardening off. So one will come out here sooner and then the next one will follow. But the succession of zinnias that I put in last week or whatever, they're doing great. Same thing with the grasses. Everything's still here. We haven't had any major predation. Even the stock seedlings that I planted weeks ago, those are starting to, improve. The irrigation seems to be working. So fingers crossed, this section is nearly buttoned up and I can move on down. This was Cynoglossum and there's a few surviving plants. I came through and fertilized everything with a watering can. But some of this, I don't know, we'll see. Maybe it'll get big enough. But I have two whole rows right here ready for planting. In addition to this row that has a few ranunculus, that I still need to add compost to and gypsum, but I've got to get the gypsum first. I only left those because even though they're too blown out to harvest, they're pretty and I didn't need the space right now. And it's just nice to see something up here. It's too bad this entire bed didn't do what it was supposed to do because it's always so pretty to see all the ranunculus. Okay, so we were able to get our mower to work. The reason we haven't used it out here in the past is that the ground is super uneven. There's lots of big rocks. There are random pieces of metal from when this was like pasture. So we've been anxious about using it out here, but we tried to be as meticulous as possible and pick up as many barriers to mowing as possible. So Mike was able to put it up on the highest setting and get this mowed down. It was a lot faster than string trimming, but there's still a lot that needs to be hand dug out. So at least the pathway is open. He also filled this bed for me. I put gypsum down in it and he filled it with compost, so it is ready. I do need to add irrigation to it, but it is ready for planting. So one of the things I'm going to focus on this morning, I guess my old gopher deterrent thing is working. I didn't even know it was still around. I need to fix all the irrigation holes down here. There's a lot of them and Mike hit things with the mower a couple times, and I was like, that's fine. I needed to address it anyway. But I do want to vinegar treat this pathway and that pathway. I don't need things to be pristine, but I want to kill back these horrible thistles because they're just awful, and they'll still come up even through in the, the drought period of the season. I started hand weeding this dahlia bed. The soil is super hard. This is that terrible soil that I didn't realize was bad until after it rained. So I think instead of weeding it, I am going to pull up because it's pretty full. I'm going to pull up the irrigation and scoop out the top layer with a shovel, just dump it into the pathway, which is totally fine. And then I will add gypsum and fresh compost, which we still have some of, and then it'll be ready for planting. The dahlias are hardening off now, and they've put on a lot of growth, so they need to get in the ground. Then we've got the sweet pea bed, and you can see the sweet peas, actually most of them survived and they're looking good. They're starting to climb the trellis, but of course it's full of weeds. So I do want to come in here and this is not the soil. This is not the soil from the bad soil. This is soil that I dug out, put the cage down, and filled back in. So all I'm going to do is come through with a hoe and just kind of break up these little weeds on the surface. Add gypsum because even the native soil has too much magnesium, and then put more compost down. So that will be, that's another job for back here. And then this bed that we finished weeks and weeks ago, this has all good soil in it. It has the native soil plus the good compost. So I need to weed it, put irrigation on it, and then it will be ready for planting as well. And I think we're going to put the mums in here, and I'll fill this bed as well for the other mums that are coming. This will get filled with digging out the third bed here, and then I'll put nice compost on top after that, and then add the irrigation. And of course, all these pathways will get wood chips and cardboard as well. These areas over here, so there's 2 more beds here that need to be dug out, but they don't have to happen this season. I have enough space right now to plant. So you can see this is these are 2 daffodil beds, and they're very overgrown, and Mike was like, what should I do about that? And I said, just leave them for now, because once the daffodil foliage dies back, then I will come through and literally mow the whole thing down, and it'll be good to go. The daffodils will come, all this stuff will be living mulch. However, I am going to come through and cut the seed heads off of all of the grasses that are going to seed, as well as the thistles, because I don't want those to drop even more. But this will act as living mulch on top of these beds once I cut them all down, once the daffodil foliage fades back. Okay, so then we have this bed, which had a few ranunculus come up. Again, there's 2 blown open to harvest, which is a bummer. But it also has lilies coming up that apparently survived, that I never pulled up last year that I thought I did. This bed needs to be, weeded, lots of gypsum added, and fresh compost to fill it, to top it up before I will plant anything in it. But I'm not in a rush again for that as well. So what I really need to do, first thing, is find all the holes in the irrigation and get those patched up. Now I may need to order a couple of parts. There is a T intersection up here. So the main line comes from way down there. Well, actually it comes from the barn all the way down here. It's along the fence line, and then there's a T split right here. This line travels down and becomes the header for these beds and for those beds. This connection here, I noticed last time it was running, it's not that it has like punctures in it, it just doesn't fit well. And so these compression tees I just don't really like. So what I need to do is replace that with the kind that screws down like I've used elsewhere, because those work a lot better. They're more tight, at least for me in my experience. So it doesn't have fountaining extra water coming out. Then I need to fix where Mike accidentally hit the irrigation. Around here, it's not a big deal. Should be pretty quick. Run irrigation to that bed. make sure that's not leaking everywhere, and then run irrigation to the old tulip bed as well. Then I can finish moving compost up here to the bed that has a few ranunculus left in it. Can't finish completely that area because I don't have the wood chips yet, but that will be finished this week. And then I'll focus on what I was just talking about with you, all this other stuff. All of these weeds that are on the side here, I'm going to attack with vinegar. That should pretty much kill them all off. And then we should be good probably for the rest of the season until springtime next year. Generally, once our rain stops, unless an area is irrigated, it will just turn brown and die. And I think the rain has stopped. I don't see anything on the forecast, and we're at the end of April now. It's pretty much usually the end of our rainy season. So I think this may be the last time we have to string trim, except for, I don't know, we'll see. We'll see. But the ground is pretty hard already. I can feel it. However, a lot of these species that are here, these are all weeds, by the way. None of this is native vegetation for our area. This is mostly pasture grasses and stuff that were left out for cows. And so it has taken over what would be the normal native vegetation, which is a real bummer. So we want to eradicate it. Anyway, the vinegar will help, should kill all that off. And then I can just focus on growing the things that I want to grow. All right, let me get my tools for irrigation work and let's see what we can accomplish. Well, the irrigation is not going to happen today. I do need parts. I just went and dug through my supplies collection and I've got lots of parts, but not the ones that I need. So I just need to order those from DripWorks. They'll be here in a couple of days. Right now, I'm going to focus on digging out this dahlia bed just a little bit, just skimming off the top where all the weeds are and stuff. And that way, I can come back with gypsum for everything and go ahead and get this buttoned up and ready for the dahlias. So I'm going to do that first. Then we'll see. I still have to, harvest Ami Magus and stuff like that thankfully this is my week where it's not all the weekly people. It's just, actually it's the weekly people, not the bi-monthly people. And I have more bi-monthly members than I do weekly. So I only have a few bouquets to make, which is great because I don't have a lot to harvest. But I still will need to do that before I can, and I've got some irises and stuff at home, which are gorgeous. So I need to do that as well. And I have some errands to run. So it's not like I have a lot of time to spend out here today. Tomorrow I'll have a little bit more time. All right, let me get started on digging this up and it'll be ready for gypsum tomorrow. Okay, so Dahlia bed's dug out. It just needs gypsum and compost. And since I don't have gypsum today, boy, I came unprepared, didn't I? I'll do that tomorrow morning, but it'll be easy. And so what I'm gonna do now is this bed that I had put zinnias in, you can see pretty much everything died. There's a few, but that's not worth keeping. They will struggle, they'll never be really strong plants. So I'm gonna pull them out, and instead we are going to direct sow double quick sunflowers in this area here. I'm gonna put one seed every 6 inches, so every emitter on the drip tape. And because it's netted, that's the reason I'm choosing this instead of one of these other beds. Plus, I have other seedlings coming from Farmer Bailey, and it'll be nice to have bed space, a whole bed for them, since there'll be a lot of them. So I'm gonna do that. I do have to fix, see how the irrigation is all squirrely here? Even though I tack it down, sometimes the pressure pulls it aside and then plants suffer. These are all sunflowers here. So I need to fix this, pull it tight, and maybe even cut some of it off and make it tighter. But then we'll get over here and start direct sowing. Okay, double quick sunflowers planted. That soil feels really dry for having the irrigation having run this morning. I am dubious. So one of the things I'll do tomorrow when I'm out here fixing irrigation for the lower half is I'll run it up here and just see. Some lines look like they're definitely getting tons of water. Others, not so much. So yeah, I need to check that out. These seeds will never germinate if if there's not good water. So I think what I'm gonna do before I leave is just take the watering can over this section, because where I put the seeds, like the holes that I put them in, felt dry, even though the irrigation ran this morning. So I wanna get it moist, and I'll probably do that for the next couple of days, just so that they don't dry out, because seeds are funny. Once they germinate or start to germinate, if the hole cracks and the seed starts to open up, if it dries out, then it just dies and that's it. So it has to keep enough moisture going through the whole germination process in order for them to actually germinate. I think we're gonna also go home today and plant sweet potato slips, because they arrived and they've been sitting in a glass of water. So that might be the last thing on this video. But I'll let you know after I run all my errands. Well, I've run out of time today. Too many errands and other things going on. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Tomorrow is deliveries for CSA, but then also I ended up getting gypsum. So we'll put the gypsum on the beds that need it, move some more compost, and won't be able to do the irrigation yet because those parts won't arrive for a couple days, but we'll be pretty much ready to go for more planting. And I do have lots more things hardening off. Celosia, which can go in the ground pretty soon, just another couple days. More sunflowers, more zinnias, so there'll be a lot more transplanting coming up. But tomorrow, I also want to go ahead and transplant our sweet potato slips, get those guys started. So join me then. Thanks again for hanging out with me. I hope you have a wonderful time in your garden, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.